In this video, we're going to be talking about how to find the probability of a single event and classify the event into one of 5 categories. Now, the classifications for the probabilities of events can be seen at the bottom of the screen on the number line. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but first let's talk about how to find the probability of a single event. To find the probability of a single event, a random event from happening, you are taking the number of successful outcomes. That means in how many ways in the event can what you want to happen take place, and you put that over the total number of possible outcomes in the experiment. So to just go through that, we're going to look at the first example that you see on the screen. What we're going to do is solve the problem and then classify the probability into one of the 5 categories. So the question shows, what is the probability of randomly drawing a number card from a standard deck? A number card is anything that shows the numbers 2 to 10. You have to remember, in a standard deck there are no ones. So there are 4 of each number, and the numbers are 2 through 10. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those are all the number cards, but there are 4 of each. Okay? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different possibilities at 4 each. That means there are 36 possible number cards. So we could say the probability of choosing a number card is equal to 36, which is the total number of possible outcomes, and the total number of outcomes is the total amount of cards in the deck, which is 52. Okay? And then we simplify that, 36 over 52. Both are divisible by 4. 36 divided by 4 is 9, and 52 divided by 4 is 13. So the answer is 9/13. Now we're going to take that one step further. That probability is now going to be classified into one of these 5 categories at the bottom of the screen. Either impossible, unlikely, equally likely, likely, or certain. Now you'll notice they all fall within the numbers 0 to 1. An impossible event will have a probability of 0, a certain event will have a probability of 1, and everything in between can be classified. Now this 9 out of 13, we can approximate that to be, it's definitely higher than 50%, but it's definitely not 1. So we know it falls in this category right here, which means that this is a likely event. So what you should be able to do now is find the probability of any single event and then classify it. So what I'm going to have you do is you're going to now try this next example. So pause the video and see if you can find the probability of this event and then classify it into one of these 5 categories. Okay, so hopefully you've tried the problem, and now we're going to go over the answer. So we want to know, what are the chances that you throw a ball at this target and it does not hit the circle? And we're going to use 3.14 for pi. Now here's why you have to know the number for pi. This is actually a question dealing with area. If you were to throw an object at that target, you're trying to hit the inside of the object, and the amount of space inside of the object is the area. So we actually have 2 objects there. We have the square and we have the circle, and we're going to need the area of each. However, we want to know the chances that it does not hit the circle. So we want to actually know the amount of area inside these little parts here. And the way that we get that is by taking the area of the square and subtracting the area of the circle. So first we need the area of the square. We're going to take that first. We'll abbreviate that A with the sub letter S. That's the area of the square. Okay? And we know to find the area of the square, we want to take the side of the square and multiply it by itself. Well, since the radius of the circle is 5, and the radius is equal to half the side of the circle, we know that each side of the circle is 10 centimeters. So we're going to multiply 10 by 10, and we get 100 square centimeters. That's the square. Now we need the area of the circle, which we'll abbreviate A with the sub letter C. And we know that the area of a circle is pi times the radius squared. Well, we know the radius is 5, And we're going to square that, and we get 25 pi. But now we're going to use 3.14 for pi. 3.14 times 25, we're now going to approximate. Okay? And that gives us, if we do 25 times 3.14, we get 78.5 square centimeters. Okay, so now we have the area of the circle and we have the area of the square, but we need the difference between the two. So the area of the region outside is actually 100 minus 78.5. And that actually gives us 21.5 square centimeters. So what we need to do now is find out what percent of the entire square is 21.5 centimeters. Well, I'm a little out of room, so I'm going to do this off to the side in a different color. Okay? We're going to take that 21.5, which is the amount of space in the area outside the circle, over the total area of the square, and we're going to convert that to a percent. Well, 21.5 out of 100 is actually already in percent form, and it's 21.5%. So we can conclude that the probability of not hitting the circle is 21.5%. That means we have a 21.5% chance of not hitting the circle if we throw an object at that target. Now, what we're going to do lastly is classify that, and that percent 21.5 falls in right about here. So we're going to call that an unlikely event. So now what you should be able to do is find the probability of any single event and classify it.